Some people in Narragansett unhappy with the town over the stall's construction of a new library. Several residents rallied ahead of tonight's town meeting. Now voters approved funding for the library back in 2016, but it's still in the works. Some arguing the new town council is halting the project. Eyewitness News reporter Caroline Goggin was at the meeting tonight. She joins us from Narragansett with the new details tonight.
Well, more than 100 people were at tonight's town hall meeting here in Narragansett, which took place in the building behind me. Many of them speaking out during public comment, which turned incredibly heated. Now, before tonight's meeting, many of those residents rallied outside town hall in support of the new library. In November of 2016, residents voted for a $5.8 million bond to build a new library. And then in October of 2018, the previous town council voted 3-2 for the town to purchase the old Belmont building and IGA space at the pier for $2.8 million. That space was meant to house the new library. The town, of course, would be reimbursed the $2.8 million when the bond was issued. But one of those no votes from the council in October came from Matthew Mannix, who's now serving as council president. He says he questions the feasibility of building a new facility. Mannix telling us he believes it could cost more than the $5.8 million for a new library, once you take into consideration the $2.8 million to buy the space and then the money for construction and renovations. He said he's nervous the town could spend more than what the bond offers, leaving the remaining balance a problem for taxpayers. But the president of the Narragansett Library Board of Trustees says this is not an issue, that the state and grants could pick up any remaining balance.
There is not a problem with this project going forward. Then you add private library foundations and grants. One foundation alone gave Tiverton almost $1 million. That would, again, reduce the exposure to the town. So it is not true to say, you know, we haven't looked at this, it's not fiscally responsible, or that, you know, we're going to end up with the taxpayer paying more. That's just nonsense.
But the estimate right now in our budget for this year was $7.1 million, which would mean donations would have to come at $1.3 million from private donors to make up the difference. My position was that I wanted to undo the deal. I got reelected on that position. So I hope that people who are on the other side of the fence will say we're willing to look at a more modest proposal, which we can do at Belmont, or we could cap the total amount of borrowing that we want to do lower than 5.8.
So nothing was really resolved at tonight's meeting, but the town council did resolve it would like to meet with the library board of trustees sometime next week. They're aiming for next Monday night. In the meantime, there was an item on tonight's agenda to pick out an architect for the project for that new library, but they decided to scrap those plans until that work session is held next week. Reporting in Narragansett tonight, I'm Caroline Goggin, Eyewitness News.